Going, guys, is the Pretty Boy Offense. My name's Saj. I forgot what the channel was called there for a second, so just ignore that hiccup at the beginning. Today we're going to do a preview of the Week 7 slate of games for, a Survivor picks, as we usually do. So this will be one of the longer videos. We'll go through each game. I'll touch on some topics about each ones, who I like, who I don't like. Just a heads up, guys. This is probably the worst week of NFL football games I have seen in a long time. There's maybe 2 or 3 games this whole week that are relevant, that I really am interested in to watch. I watch every NFL game, but this week I wish I didn't have to or didn't want to, but part of doing Survivor and part of making this channel was because I do like watching football and then giving you guys this information, these different takes. So the best part about that though is usually these games look really boring because they look super one-sided. So that means for Survivor, that's exactly what we want. There's going to be a lot of options for us to take that seem relatively safe and are probably good picks for us moving forward. You could probably get away with some of those middle teams instead of having to burn up one of the strong ones this week, which is always a plus, always our goal. All right, so to start, the Browns-Broncos, that's tonight. This is a game I'd stay away from just because of all the injuries on the Browns side. Even with those injuries, I think the Browns are a better team. But as long as Teddy Bridgewater is quarterback for the Broncos and he's, always going to be a middle-of-the-pack quarterback that never really wins you a game, it's going to be tough. I do think the Browns still end up winning this game. Case Keenum is not much of a downgrade from Baker Mayfield this year. The problem with the Browns right now is the receivers, and Odell Beckham Jr. is out. Jarvis Landry coming back from IR won't be a factor. The running back injuries to Chubb and Hunt. So it's going to be like the Dearness Johnson show at running back. So it's how much faith do you really have in that guy when we haven't really seen him do anything before? And then on the wide receiver side, you have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's made some nice catches, who's been productive in the sense that he's had 17 catches this year, but all those catches have been contested catches, and he's come down with all of them. So that's all those contended catches, which is a really interesting stat. But then you got to remember, okay, well now he's going to be getting a higher volume share, and he's going to be getting passes from Case Keenum. So it's now everything starts to fluctuate a bit. It's it was nice having those sure hands when your tight ends weren't catching anything, and you could just dump it off to Peoples-Jones, but now he's going to be the number 1 receiver, and now he's going to be getting defended by what's a pretty good Broncos secondary. So it's a lot up in the air there. But like I say, guys, whenever this many injuries in a game, let's stay away from it. So I wouldn't touch it. I do think the Browns win though, mostly on the back of Case Keenum not being that much of a downgrade. Okay, the next game we're going to talk about is the Chiefs-Titans. This is the one game I'm kind of looking forward to this week, this game and the Bengals-Ravens game. But the Chiefs-Titans is really interesting. We've got these 2 teams that feel like they've just had completely weird seasons compared to what we expected them to be. The Chiefs I've talked about their shortcomings in every single video, because I think they're probably the most polarizing team in the league right now, which is at any point they could flip the switch and just be the most talented offense in the league. But then when they're not firing on all cylinders, those interceptions and stuff really are the death of this team. And you see it in their record. You see it gets reflected in them losing games to top competition and the Ravens and stuff. So I guess the real discerning factor in this is, what do we believe the Titans are? Are they a good team or are they a bad team? Because they lost to the Jets, but then they just beat the Bills. So I don't know. I was big on the Titans being a bad team, and then they get these injuries issues in their secondary, on their O-line and stuff. And I don't really think I ever want to take the Titans. But then you see how good Derrick Henry's playing. And I saw a stat where Derrick Henry has I think it's 50 more touches than the closest running back in touch comparison. And that's just because of how the NFL is. A lot of shared backfields, a lot of sharing the load. Derrick Henry's probably the best singular running back in the NFL. Especially when Christian McCaffrey's injured and Saquon's injured and stuff. But I even think even when they're not injured, Henry's probably better. So it's I think that another question is, can Derrick Henry, beat a Chiefs defense, which is absolutely terrible? And I think 100% he can. Can he do it by himself? Probably, because the Chiefs have refused to put Chris Jones back inside because they think playing one of the best middle like linemen, D linemen and stuff, on the outside and like try to manufacture like edge pressure that way is a good idea. But no, you've taken like one of the best players at his position, playing him out of position, and you're not even getting production out of it. So now you're just like losing on two fronts. So if the Chiefs ever were going to smarten up and put Jones back to where he belongs, they would do it this game and try and stop Derrick Henry. But then you have Julio Jones and you have A.J. Brown and you have Ryan Tannehill, who's the best quarterback in the league from a clean pocket. So I'm pretty sure we don't even need to ask the question, can Julio and A.J. Brown beat these Chiefs, the secondary? They obviously can. They obviously will. So I think it just becomes a matter of, will the Chiefs offense just have a game where they're successful? Because when they have successful games, they're relatively, good for the wins, but it's always against bad teams. And I think the Titans have proved me wrong, and they are a good team this year. So I would lean on the Titans probably winning this game. As, controversial as it sounds, it still sounds like weird to me, even after watching all these games for the Chiefs, to think that the Chiefs are, going to lose. It's hard to say the Chiefs will lose games, but it looks like I think they'll lose this one. So we're going to move on to the next game. Packers Washington. That was a tough one to talk about, guys. I think, honestly, from Survivor, Chiefs Titans, I want to go back to it for a second. I don't think, just don't touch this game. There's no reason to. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of other games to pick. And then just look, we have a little forecast for both these teams. The Chiefs, the next two games are Giants Packers. If you really want to take the Chiefs, I took the Chiefs last week, but if you really want to take the Chiefs, just take them against the Giants. That'll be a good game. If you really want to take the Titans, their next two games are Colts Rams. So maybe don't take the Titans this week or the next 2 weeks, because those are two tough games. All right, moving on. Washington Packers. Good team, bad team. I think Bakhtiari is coming back for the Packers, which is good, but was it even necessary? I'm pretty sure that every week I've been talking about how the Washington pass rush has not been successful, has not been doing what they're supposed to be doing, what their build-up, what their talent should dictate. But if this was the game that was going to start, then it'd be nice when the Packers get one of the best linemen in the league back. They haven't played. He hasn't really played all year. So, what are we talking about with the Washington? They played against the Chiefs, and again, it was just a tale of, they have no weapons, they have no confidence. It is nothing's happening as long as Heineke's your quarterback. You're not gonna really ever be a favorite in a game. And then we have all these. I'll talk as we kind of hit on the other teams. There's the Tua, Deshaun Watson rumors and stuff like that all going around. Potential 3-team trades and a couple quarterbacks moving spots. When those things happen, we'll address them. But I think it just goes to show and really hammer home that the Heineke stuff is a great story, but it is nothing that you ever want leading your franchise. And we haven't heard anything about Fitzpatrick, so I take that as a negative. I think if Fitzpatrick was coming back, that would be a big storyline that we'd be hearing about, but we haven't heard anything. So, easy Packers game. Devontae Adams is going to tear up the secondary. So, take the Packers, good team versus bad team. All right, Ravens Bengals. This is the second game that was actually interesting. But then is it? Because last year when the Bengals played the Ravens, I'm pretty sure they scored a combined points of 6 points. They scored 3 points both times they played. And only one game was with Joe Burrow. But the Ravens have Joe Burrow figured out. And Joe Burrow has been very good against the blitz, right? So there's this really interesting comparison with him playing, how well he's done against whenever they bring multiple men against him in a blitz, and he's successfully completing his passes because they had to drop out the linebackers and stuff like that, right? So there's this weird relationship that Baltimore had with the Chiefs when they were trying to stop Patrick Mahomes, where Patrick Mahomes was also very good against the blitz, and then the Ravens kept bringing more pressure because they've been the most blitz happy team in the league the last few years. But every time they did, Patrick Mahomes would carve them up. So they just stopped bringing the blitz, and then they've tried to coverage more and just have better pressured individuals on the D-line. And it worked, and that's how they got their win against Mahomes this past year. So I think with Joe Burrow, you don't let off on the blitz. What you should do is you should make him prove to you that he can play against your blitz, because your blitz is one of the best in the league. So bring the pressure. He's never seen anything like it. Just terrorize him. It worked last year in the one game that you play, in the other game they didn't have him. But it'll probably work this year because I just think the Ravens blitz, their personnel is just so much better than everybody else's. So yeah, like I think that's possible. And then I think you're also going to see, this is another little relationship here with what they did with Herbert, just bringing the pressure here. The Ravens scheme up pressure so well. And then when you have a secondary as well as good as they do, even with like just Humphrey just being outstanding, like locking up like Williams and stuff, I think Humphrey can lock up Jamar Chase, and you got a really good game there. But yeah, Bengals are playing great. The Bengals play the Jets next, and then the Browns after that. Those are two big games that we would like to take the Bengals in. Definitely that Jets one. We'll see what the Browns look like with injuries. But Ravens have the Vikings and the Dolphins next. So again, you don't really need to take the Ravens in this game. We can wait for that Dolphins game and get them used like early. So you're seeing really good options all over. We don't need to touch that Chiefs-Titans game, Bengals-Ravens game. But yeah, I think I think the Ravens have answers for what the Bengals are. All right, so Panthers Giants. I have the Panthers winning this one, but this again is like we got to wait and see like what the injuries are. It's really interesting for the Giants. We want to make sure Tony's healthy because he's an offense in himself. That's just the way that guy moves. It's not like anything I've ever seen before. But then you look at the Giants O-line, it's like, okay, well, even if your weapon is like relatively healthy, this O-line, like Andrew Thomas is injured and stuff like that. And the Panthers have been a blitz-happy team as well. Speaking of the Ravens, another team that likes to bring pressure is the Panthers. And Daniel Jones had a really bad game last week, and I know he was coming off that concussion and everything like that. But if there's going to be another game where, the stumble just continues, it would be this game. Because I think the Panthers still have a lot to play for this year, and they're going to have to fight for everything, and they have to win games like this Giants game. So they're going to bring the pressure, keep Daniel Jones off his rocker, and we could easily see the Giants like losing this, and then they have to start figuring out what they're doing as a franchise. I think coach-wise, GM-wise, personnel-wise, they have to start answering some questions. But yeah, I think it's two desperate teams that want to stop their slide, and I take the Panthers a little bit more competent, and I think they have a little bit more health, outside the CMC stuff, but. Yeah, the O-line combined, the O-line issues with the Giants combined with the Panthers pass rush, it's just a death sentence. All right, so the next game, Falcons-Dolphins. So I'm pretty sure Tua's playing. I think he's playing. Even if a trade happens for Deshaun Watson, it's not like Deshaun Watson's going to play. But I'm pretty sure Tua's playing. If Tua's playing, I'm confident taking the Dolphins over the Falcons, just because the problem I have with the Dolphins is a lot of the O-line stuff, but the Falcons don't drum up any pressure, so it won't even matter who's back there and who's getting pressured, because they won't be pressured, right? And then on the Falcons side, I mean, the Falcons are what they are. They're going to be a spicy team all year. They might make some close games, but there's never going to be anything foundationally like sound for us to like want to bet on. I was talking about maybe taking them against teams like the Saints if they keep sliding, but it looks like the Saints are competent enough. So, like, sorry, Falcons. We'll actively try not to pick against them. Maybe this week that'll start, because I know we tried before, but like I think this week we got to start thinking that we can't take games against the Falcons, just because if that offense starts clicking, that we don't want that to be the week we lose. So I go Dolphins over Falcons. Patriots Jets. This is a nice game. The Patriots, again, like this is another team with like O-line health issues, but they'll be good enough. Mac Jones is every week getting better and better and better. He'll be able to dice up this defense. He'll be able to use his weapons appropriately. Will the Jets be able to do anything? Probably. Will it be enough? No. They're still learning. Excuse me. And Salah's like, he needs to figure out how to be a head coach right now. He's got to figure out how to coach his team up. He was on a winning team, inspiring a great defense the last few years, and now you're on a bad team and you're trying to like coach up bad like players. There's no morale and stuff, so like you can run up and down the stairs of the stadium all you want, but that's not inspiring to them if there's nothing concrete that's going to help. And the Jets, their next two games, Bengals, Colts, it looks like they're going to lose those. Patriots next two game, Chargers, Panthers. So this is like, I took the Patriots earlier, but I think that against the Jets as well. But taking the Patriots against the Jets here, that's a good pick. All right, Eagles, Raiders. Eagles, like we said, bad team. Just pad the stats. The Raiders are a talent. They show talent, but they do have hiccups in their arsenal, in their reputation, I should say. So both bad O-lines again. You're starting to find the common denominator between bad teams and good teams are O-lines. And we talked about, I was making videos early in the season about how Jordan Hicks from the Arizona Cardinals should be a trade target for the Eagles, go back there, fix their linebacker problem. That never materialized. They kept Jordan Hicks. The Eagles haven't fixed their linebacker problem. And now they're going up against Derek Carr. And I'm pretty sure he's just going to take advantage of that linebacker core all game and that weak secondary. And I think it's just an easy win for the Raiders. It looks like they're playing simple football now too, which is kind of nice when you got the talent that they do on offense or the intelligence that they have on offense. It's like, yeah, play simple football and just beat the bad teams. When they start playing other games against some more top talent, it won't be enough, but this will definitely be enough to be a team like the Eagles. The Raiders' next two games, Giants and Chiefs. So Raiders over Giants is also a nice one I like next week, but I think Raiders over Eagles good. Eagles have the Lions and the Chargers. That Eagles-Lions game might be tempting for a really sneaky one next week if we want to go Eagles to beat Detroit, but I don't know. Let's see. We'll probably find something better than that. All right, so Rams-Lions this week. Speaking of the Lions, good team, bad team. Bad team is the Lions. I shouldn't have to say this. Good team's the Rams. Jared Goff revenge game, yes, fully, but I don't think it's enough. Maybe they cover the spread, which is I think 15 or 14 points, which is astronomical, which is insane. The next game even has an even bigger one, but yeah, go Rams over Lions. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about there. Rams have the Texans and Titans next, so the Rams over Texans is another good pick next week if you want to save them for Survivor. But Lions, like we said, Eagles, and then Steelers. So yeah, I think we're picking against the Lions as much as we can, take those easy wins. Next game, Texans Cardinals. Again, good team, bad team. I'm saying this a lot this week, and this is why I wasn't excited for this week, but it's great for Survivor. Cardinals are a good team. Texans are a bad team. Texans are in a bunch of trade talks right now, supposedly with a few teams trying to move some quarterbacks around. So, just helps your case. I think this is a really good week to take the Cardinals. One of the best weeks you ever could. You couple that with the Cardinals' future value is going to be so low with playing in the NFC West, playing against Dallas, playing against some of the AFC South opponents that they have left, which is the Indianapolis Colts. They have the Packers the week after this. It's just, this is, if you're ever going to take the Cardinals and you still have them left, this is the week to take the Cardinals against the Texans. It doesn't get more slam dunk than that. I know there's some question marks about Cliff Kingsbury not being there still with COVID protocol and everything. They did fine. Cliff's implemented that system so well in Arizona that all the coaches know what they're doing. Kyler Murray can probably call calls himself. He's gotten so much more comfortable audibling at the line that I'm way comfortable with the Cardinals. Next game, Colts and 49ers. This is a game I'm going to stay away from. They're two good teams. Not great teams, not very good teams, but good teams. This is becoming the middle, right? This is what we understand is the middle pack where it's, good rosters, but the execution is lacking. And I think on the 49ers part, if Jimmy Garoppolo was playing and Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy, I'd probably go 49ers over Colts and I'd be comfortable with that. If Trey Lance was healthy and Trey Lance was playing, I'd probably stay away from this game. Because this looks like the game with that Colts defense with DeForest Buckner and stuff like that they would ruin a rookie quarterback. He wouldn't know what to do when that many big guys is coming at him consistently, right? So, yeah, I like it. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is fully healthy, though. I think they're playing him to try and save Trey Lance from playing in this game. So, it's going to be wild. And then I'm never comfortable taking Carson Wentz because you never know which Carson Wentz is going to be. And Carson Wentz was the player of the week for the AFC last week. Which is good for him. That's great, but never will I ever expect him to be this again because he's Carson Wentz. He can't be relied upon. He's either getting injured or getting booed. That's the situation with him, and it sucks because he's talented. But the reality is that. So I'd go 49ers, but keep an eye on the quarterback situation. Maybe just stay away from this game. We've outlined a few that we love this week already. We don't need to touch this game at all. Next game, Saints versus Seahawks. I think I missed one. Is it Bears-Bucks? Yeah, Bears-Bucks. Yeah, there you go. Good team, bad team. I know Brady lost to the Bears last year, So there's that like little bit of a narrative, but like it's not going to be anything this year. He's figured out Arians' system, just like Palmer did, just like Luck did, just like Roethlisberger did, just like Manning did. And once those guys are in those systems, they don't lose games like this, and especially not to rookie quarterbacks, especially not to that defense, and especially not to Matt Nagy. No offense, Chicago. I think you guys are building something good, but right now is not special. Is nothing that can hold a light to the Bucs offense. Okay, so yeah, take the Bucs in that if you want to take the Bucs. I wouldn't say that one's a slam dunk, but it's as close to. It's a layup. Yeah, so Saints Seahawks. Again, don't touch this game because Geno Smith has moments where he looks half decent, but then throws terrible interceptions. Very similar to Jameis Winston. It's just Jameis Winston has more air yards under those throws than Geno Smith. But I expect the Saints to win. It's just healthier, quote unquote, healthier where it matters. And Jameis Winston can take advantage, even with his limited weapons, of that Seahawks secondary, which is just so bad. It's so bad. And I think we have to start thinking about picking against the Seahawks. I think the Saints against the Seahawks is a slam dunk. Like, it's got to be, especially with the coach that they have, Sean Payton and stuff like that. And then if we look at their next games for Saints, they have the Bucs and the Falcons. So maybe Saints against Falcons is a good one. But Seahawks have the Jags and Packers. And that would have been great if they had Russell Wilson to take them against the Jags or something. But no, this is a team that's just losing. They've lost their quarterback, and their quarterback was the only reason they were winning. You know, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are great weapons when you have a quarterback that can utilize them. Geno Smith doesn't do that. So, you know, take the Saints in this game. But that, yeah, wraps up the week, guys. Really short week, lots of buys. So it was a short video, like 21 minutes. I'll come out tomorrow with the top 3 games I love, top 3 games I hate. This 6 games is pretty much this whole week, so maybe I'll do 2 and 2. But you kind of heard me say it here. There's not really much to break down. I guess I could just, yeah, I'll make another video, go into a little more depth with some stats and stuff. But yeah, just a general overview, kind of like where I'm thinking, where's my head at, what I'm looking at when I'm reading these headlines and stuff. But yeah, hopefully it helps, guys. Have a good one.